Hi and welcome to Unheard. Unheard is a platform for men to talk about emotional times in their lives in order to create a community where it's okay to share how you're feeling.
In 2012, I was properly confronted with loss for the first time in my life. I'd previously lost my grandfather on my dad's side, however I wasn't enormously close with him, and probably just a bit too young to fully grasp what it was like to lose someone. Within the space of about 5 to 7 months, I lost both my grandparents on my mum's side and my grandmother on my dad's side. My mum's father, Colin Whale, or Grandpa to me, was and still is one of my favourite people, but more importantly, he was the most influential person in my life other than my parents, and I know for a fact that I would be a very different person today if it weren't for him.
So what kind of things did he do to influence you, or how did he change who you are today?
So I spent a lot of time in England growing up. We spent a lot of time at my grandparents' house, and just as I grew up as a small child, he strongly influenced my interests. He loved to share his own interests and hobbies, so he was into his aircraft and fishing, drawing. I want to talk now about what I went through that day and how I still use the same coping mechanism now that I developed during this time. After sharing in the sadness with my parents and sister that morning, I left the house to go see my girlfriend at the time. She understood what my grandpa meant to me and knew how huge of a loss this was. We sat outside her house for an hour or so while she comforted me. I then spent the rest of the day with my 2 lifelong best friends, and we went to see a movie, then hung out for the rest of the day. It was the way that these people took care of me that grew into what I now use as my main method for coping with loss or sadness.
So George, you and I were in the room when James came in and told us that his grandfather had passed away. How did you feel in that moment?
Originally, when he came in and he actually told us the news, you don't really know what to think. Your brain goes into overdrive. You just start thinking like, there isn't anything you can do to fill this hole that this person is feeling. Like there's now a gap. So I guess the only thing that we really could do is just be there if he wanted to have kind of the shoulder to cry on, or if he wanted to go to a park, if he wanted to go to a movie, or if he wanted just do what he wanted to do. He was the focus. He decided what we got to do.
So you were there for me at this time. How did it make you feel seeing your friend dealing with a loss like this?
Well, it was definitely a gigantic shock. I think that was definitely the first time I'd seen a friend dealing with grief in that situation. It was around that age where you hadn't quite seen it before, so it was very shocking. And like George said earlier, you wondered what you could do to help. And in the end, it was kind of just about making the day about you, about how we can help you and whatever you want to do, because there's nothing we can do to make that loss go away, but the only thing we can do is help you kind of bear the load a bit lighter. So what was it like, James, telling your friends what had happened, and how did it feel to be supported by them?
It's always sort of good to share information, especially with people that you care about and care about you. Especially with strong emotions, it's not good to bottle stuff up inside. If you're in a situation where you've got people who can and will care about you, that's definitely one of the best situations you can be in for people to, or for you to deal with a sad situation, because, you're letting out the information and expressing your emotions, which is the best way to deal with them. And then in turn, your friends are providing you with support and love, which is what you need. From then on, whenever presented with a saddening situation like a loss or the end of a relationship, I now knew the way for me to best deal with it was to focus strongly on the aspects of my life that hadn't changed, the parts of my life that would remain the same as I went through some sort of upsetting change. When I deal with situations now, I look to my friends, my family, my career, my hobbies, the things in my life that will always make me happy and remind me of who I am and how much I enjoy my life. This coping method has helped me so significantly through the hard times I've gone through since the loss of my grandpa.